What's up, pretty gang? Long time no see. It's your favorite motherfucking nail tech Peaches back with the video, and today I'm gonna show you guys how to do acrylic big toe on a wide stubby type of toenail, kind of like giving like a clubbed thumb look, if that makes sense. All right, before we get started, always make sure you check the description for coupon codes, links. I do teach one-on-ones for those of you who are in or near the Sacramento or surrounding area. I don't teach acrylic toes, but I do have a whole layout for all skill levels for those who want to learn designs or just back to the basics of acrylics. All right, so before we get started, I just want to say I appreciate y'all for sticking with me. I see y'all still subscribing, even though I kind of been not posting a lot on YouTube. I got some personal circumstances regarding, life changes such as moving and things like that have just been, y'all, my free time has have to be my free time. Okay, so when it comes to toenails that are like wider and stubbier, you're going to start as normal. All right, you guys know no tips allowed over here. We're working with all the acrylic. This is actually Young Nails Core White. Okay, and we're going to go as usual. We're not going to worry about extending or anything like that, because those who have like a wide stubbier type of toenail on the big toe, extending it is actually not the safest thing to do. And honestly, it just does not give the best look. You're going to get the best look by keeping it short and simple. We're going to focus on the shape and we're going to focus on the smoothness. So as you guys can see, I took the one bead. If you need to do more than one bead, that's fine. I use a size 20 brush, so one bead is good for me. And we are going to focus on making sure it fits what is already there. Okay, do not try and make this person's toenail look slimmer or cut away pieces or whatever. You guys, not only is it not going to grow correctly, like what grows in is not going to match what you've just taken away, but it can also cause problems, as that's not how the person's toenail is naturally and structurally. Okay, so you guys are going to see me focus a lot, like I said, on the shape, which we're getting ready to do. You can see me shaping it out with the brush, as well as just the structure. You're going to see me tuck these cuticles all the way to high heaven. Okay, I'm just going to be focusing on tucking these cuticles and making sure everything is nice and flush all the way to the end of this clip. Okay, and the clip is about 5 minutes deep. All right, so once again, this is really for people who have a toenail like y'all. It's been a while since I did a voiceover. I apologize. So y'all can see she has a big toe that is reminiscent of what you would see on someone who has a clubbed finger. Now, I'm not gonna lie, her fingers on her hands, of course they're on her hands, but they are naturally stubby, and her thumbs do look like this as well. She gets natural overlays, and although her nails do grow, the stubbiness does not go away. The width of the nail does not change. So this is why I'm saying you're going to want to focus on giving them a really nice shape and structure. I cannot help but to reiterate that, because at the end of the day, as their nail grows, it's just not, the width is just not going to change. It's just not. Okay, so here we are, once again, tucking the cuticles, like I said. Now you can see that I am letting the acrylic dry down a little bit as I'm doing this, and then I'm going to go ahead and pretty much use my brush to shape and pat and do all those things as I need to. Now, what you do want to remember is that whatever length the acrylic is when you're done laying it, it is not going to stay that length through shaping and filing. Now, for some of you, you might accidentally, file it a little bit too low and wish, doggone it, I wish I would have added more acrylic. And then for some of us who are a little more advanced, whatever shape that whatever length that you make it, it's gonna be pretty the same. But in this case, because I do know, just because of how her toenail is shaped, it's not perfectly square. So I need to go ahead and fill in any little gaps and dents, so that way as I shape, it can remain around this same type of length, but just really, really neat. So if you need to go ahead and add an extra bead, and I like to pull and push it a little bit off of the tip to use it to enhance the shape, so I do less filing later on, that's perfectly fine. But you will want to remember that because this is supposed to be replicating a toenail, right? You want to remember that underneath the acrylic, it still needs to have that shape of a toenail. And everyone's toenail is not just flat pressed down to their skin, right? I mean, some people's toenail have like a curve in the front, so just be mindful of what the front looks like. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, from looking underneath the toenail, it's always going to feel like it looks quote unquote thick, but what you're looking at is a lot of layers of, well, not a lot of layers, but you're looking at the acrylic as like a thick mass. So even though if you thin out the front or do the front thinner, when you look underneath, you're still going to be looking at acrylic that's not just the free edge, if that makes sense. So don't be alarmed at that if you've done all you can do to keep the tip, you know, slim down, whatever. So even though I laid that bead up there and it is meant to service the tip area, I still need to make sure it's nice and blended and everything else is nice and flush. And this is pretty much the extent of that. The application is not too hard because a lot of times these people do have nails. They just happen to be, you know, a little shorter and stubbier looking, okay? Now filing, I always use my zebra file. This is a 100 grit zebra file. The zebra-ness of the file makes it less harsh. Now the only time you'll see me using a black file is if I just got done using it on someone's hands and a lot of the grit is, you know, gone. So here's the thing. Excuse me. Once again, watch me file, okay? Look closely at what I'm doing. I am not going out of my way to try and make this person's toenail a different width. I'm not tapering it or doing anything of that because you do not want to harm the person's, you know, integrity of their nail. You see, I'm going underneath. I'm making sure everything is thinned out because remember I did add some acrylic to the front to go ahead and give me the little extra length that I need to fill in a specific area because it wasn't all matching up. So I want to make sure that's thinned out, but I also need to make sure, again, the cuticle area is flush and that the shape is right. So you're gonna see me go back and forth with my e-file and my regular hand file. This is actually my Coupa Mani profile, which lately I've kind of been almost preferring, y'all. I don't know what's going on with my not polished e-file, but the way it keeps stopping and starting and giving me these error messages, it's honestly been on my nerves. So, but for feet, excuse me, I use my Mani Coupa. Now, you will see me go back and forth, back and forth. There's nothing wrong with that. Those who have a wider toenail, you really need to take your time and make sure that you see how I'm looking from all angles. You need to look from all angles to make sure that this person's toenail is not too wide, because you can also accidentally, depending on your acrylic control, you can accidentally make it too wide, and if that's the case, you need to take it in a little bit. And then there's the case in which you make it not wide enough and then the real nail is showing or anything like that. So I'm now using my e-file to go ahead and give me some extra shaping that I need without removing too much. You'll need to be careful with this because you can accidentally take chunks out of the acrylic and then you're gonna be looking like Boo Boo the Fool trying to go back and fix stuff that you didn't already mess with, okay? So you can see from all angles, this is a really nice flush acrylic enhancement. Now, I would not suggest trying to make this person's toenail really long and trying to make it go above their skin because honestly, it's just not, excuse me, the tip of the toe max is gonna be the sweet spot for clients like this. And honestly, I would even say slightly underneath. And I'm not talking like hanging over the tip of the toe. I'm talking about where, okay, you can just barely see the tip of the toenail. And as I finish, you guys, I'm gonna show you up close, right? This is the finished result. As you guys can see, it's looking really nice and natural. It matches up with the other toenails, but it's not too wide, but you know, it also still fits the toenail. You know, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm really enjoying being back. I'm gonna try and edit a couple videos today so I don't just get lost in my mental and just be like, okay, YouTube can wait, you know? So hopefully you guys enjoy this and I'll see you guys in the next video.